How you doing? Thanks for looking at... Try that again. How you doing? Thanks for clicking on the video. So the one we're looking at today is by Bushcraft and Wild Camping, and the video title is Building a Warm and Cozy Survival Shelter Bushcraft Camp in the Wilderness. Okay, sounds like it's got all the elements there. Let's jump into this one and see what we're dealing with. So the first thing I'm seeing is the watermark in the bottom right of the screen for Power Director, which is a video editing app. This is the free version of it because that's why you've got the that watermark there. I've used that on a mobile app, on a phone, and then I edited that video on the phone, and then I dropped that into the editor that I'm using, and I just cropped in a bit to get rid of that watermark, and it was, yeah, happy days. I'm wondering if he's used this site before, because there's a big build-up of rocks there. Unless it's left over from some ancient civilization. Yeah, those leaves could present a massive fire risk, but there'd be good insulation as well. Any sort of digging in that location is just going to be a nightmare because you've got all those rocks, and there'd be rocks just under the surface as well, so trying to dig through them, plus those massive trees that you can see one root there. They're going to have roots everywhere, so yeah, definitely not going to be doing a dugout shelter in that location. It's a little bit slow paced. To be honest, we just had like a 3 or 4 second clip of him just turning a rock around, and we've established he's filling in the gaps with dirt. Very steep terrain. Like this clip is just going on way too long for me. He's got a couple of hundred videos on his channel, so you'd think within a couple of hundred videos you would have really improved at editing. I'm thinking this is going to be a long half hour. This is a half-hour long video, but I'm already finding it a struggle. Look, we can't really see it's alright to have the establishing shot, like back where he's got it, but to be going on this long, we really need a change of camera angle, in my opinion, which who knows what my opinion counts for anyway. But yeah, for me, it's alright to have a long clip of building something, doing something, but you got to change the camera. You got to move it around, and otherwise it just gets boring. And like here, we can't even see the top of the frame. You know, you can't see what he's doing up there. And if you can't see it, then why leave it in there? You know, like he's not even in shot. He's behind a tree. You can't see the top. If you're constantly moving it, you might get one of those shots where you didn't frame it right, and you, like he just had, and climb up behind that tree, and he's doing stuff, and you can't see anything. And if you're constantly moving the camera, okay, that's one bad shot. So you just cut it out in the edit, move on. But when you've just got this one long protracted shot, you just set up your camera and you just hit record, and then that's it. You just keep building. Then, you know, yeah. But like here, we can't see what he's doing. You know, we know what he's doing, but we can't see it. So he could have shown a really short clip of it if he had to leave it in there, and then move on, because we want to see what he's doing, not having to guess what he's doing. This has been like at least 10 minutes that he's just got it set up here, and there hasn't been that many cuts. It's just set and forget. Like again, we're only seeing like half of what he's doing there, and it comes down to the fact that he didn't move his camera around. Now, he mightn't have a tripod. He might just have, you know, his phone and just tying this thing off to a tree or taping it to a tree or something, and that's fine. But you can still move it like that. He managed to move that. So it takes more time and effort to move things, but you just got to do it. If you want to be a filmmaker, and then you got to go out and make a film. You can't be a filmmaker and a YouTuber, which is a filmmaker, and not actually go through the process of moving cameras and filming. Like this could have been shortened up a lot. We could have seen a couple of pieces and then cut through to doing the last couple of pieces, just to save us the time in our life. And I've said it before in other videos, some people like this style of video where it's just really slow and laid back and you can just sit down and relax. For myself personally, I don't. I like to see what's happening, and I like it to be progressing along, not super fast, but at somewhat of a pace, rather than sitting here going, okay, get to the next bit, get to the next bit. That's what I'm feeling at the moment. And again, he could have moved that camera around and positioned it somewhere else, so we could have seen what's going on the other side there, because we can't see what he's doing now. So what's the point of leaving it in there if we can't see it? And if you just got a phone to film with, that's fine. What he's doing, it's fine if he's just using a phone and you don't have a tripod. But he's a bushcrafter. So bushcraft up a tripod that you can then move around easily. Just three pieces of wood and lash them together and then just move it around, have your camera so it sits in it, cradles in it. And then you can just spread them further apart to level things up. Then you can have that constantly moving around. So this shot would have been good earlier on when he was doing that top bit we couldn't see. I've been pretty negative, so I thought I'll throw in something positive. I like the headroom that he's got there. For keeping warmth in, if you're doing it as a survival shelter, you'd want to try to get it closer to the ground to keep the warmth in as much as you could, just really compact. It's not about comfort, it's about warmth and just getting through the night. But if you're going to use it for more than a night, or if you're using it to shoot YouTube videos in, then yeah, definitely you want the more spacious shelter. So yeah, I like the headroom, and it's for morale, it's better to have a bit more space rather than be in a cocoon. I wouldn't be too particular with this. I'd just be throwing it on, grabbing as much as I could. It doesn't have to be neat and tidy. Just it can be a foot deep. Just throw it on. Don't worry about spreading it out. Just grab another handful, throw it on, throw it on. Yeah, like this. There could have been cuts there where he moved off camera, cut, come back in, started again, and all this dead space. What are we watching here? We're watching some leaves, and that's it. So yeah, to me that's a momentum killer. I mean, it didn't have much momentum to start with, but this little bit here is, what are we watching, really? It's going to be pretty sheltered with those rocks there too, unless the wind's coming in from this angle, then he's going to be stuffed. Having an open fire, and that would be fraught with danger. All those leaves everywhere, not just on his roof, but all around the ground, everywhere. One wayward spark, you could get yourself into a whole heap of trouble. Like here, I would cut here and then change the camera and get it in close. We've got this establishing shot. Right, now get us in there. Get us up close and personal with this so we can see what's going on. But no. Alright, we're in. That's what I was saying about earlier. If you're staying somewhere long term, or you're making YouTube videos, you want your shelter to be more spacious for filming. Yeah, like this is out of focus, but I mean, some things it just happens. But yeah, if you had a real tiny shelter, even getting this shot would be difficult. and without filming lights, as soon as you start putting a roof on and walls on and things, it gets real dark real quick inside. So I don't know if this is inside that shelter. If it is, it's going to be bloody smoky. As you can start to see there, it's going to fill your whole shelter up and be looking for ways out. It's going to be coming out your doorway. It's going to be, something's going to be going out through the top, but there's no, like a chimney is designed so as it goes up, that hot air goes up through the chimney, it gets to a point where it's sucking the smoke up through it. But if it's just a hole in your roof, it's not drawing that smoke. So yeah, when you first light your fire and when it dies down, I'm speaking from experience, I've done it, and I've had like a teepee style shelter with the fire right in the middle of it, and yeah, you couldn't sit in there. When you first lit it, you had to get outside. When it died down, you're asleep, you wake up and your eyes are stinging, your nose is stinging, everything's watering just because of you're just suffocating in smoke. Once it's established and it's a raging fire, it's not so bad. So yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. It looks cool, but there's a trade-off between warmth and breathability. If it's not raining and you can have a fire outside, then definitely that's the way to go. You're not going to have a fire going all night, because that fire, you can't put massive logs on it, the amount of space he's got there, so you're going to have to be constantly feeding it. So you're not going to get any sleep, and every time you put another log on there, it's going to just take a little bit of time for it to catch fire and really get established, so it's going to start creating that smoke again. But yeah, if it's raining and you need to boil water or do cooking or whatever like that, then obviously you need to have that underneath some sort of shelter. But yeah, I'd definitely do the cooking and then put it out before I went to sleep, so there's no smoke. Because it sucks when you wake up and your eyes are stinging, your nose is watering, and oh, it's terrible. So he's lighting a secondary fire. Maybe he's realised how smoky the first one was and he's building this one outside. I'm wondering if he's just done this for the thumbnail or if he's done this for a practical reason. With that wind picking up, it's going to be a hazard. You're not going to really want to turn your back on this outside fire for much time, because potential for that fire to spread pretty high. No, he's still feeding that fire inside as well. Yeah, it's a bit smoky, mate. So you could have cooked this and eaten this outside or in his doorway. Then we could have got a wider shot so you could actually see his head. And just go into his shelter when it was time to go to sleep. Yeah, that doesn't look comfortable at all. But this kind of sums up the video for me, this last bit. Just these long shots that just go on way too long. There's a white fire. That's a bit better. Got a bit of colour in that one. But that's it. Alright, well, what do I think? I'll start out with positives. I'll go there first. I liked he utilised the natural features that he had available to him with the rocks and the trees, and already had that sort of natural shelter there. He just had to close it in a little bit. So I like that. That's about all I liked about it, really. Sorry to be harsh, but I think I would have liked it better if it had been shorter. Like, it was a 30-minute video, and I've obviously haven't shown 30 minutes of it. I will leave a link to it in the video description if you want to go check it out. You can watch it in full. But I I think there would have been a lot of shots there that could have been cut down or left out completely because they didn't add anything to the video other than adding time. If he had just started out, if this was like his first video or he was in the first 10 or 20 videos on his channel, okay, I can forgive that, but he's got a couple of hundred videos. So yeah, and as I've said, some people like that style of video. They like to just sit back and relax, and they don't mind that it just drags out for a great length of time. But if you've got other things to do and watch or whatever, then yeah, it does get pretty tedious. If it's a creator that you really enjoy watching, then you'll watch it, especially if there's a bit of dialogue in there as well. Like a Joe Robnett, his videos are like 2 hours long, some of the videos that Joe's done. But he'll get away with it because he's throwing in all the commentary along the way, and people are watching it for him. They're like, this guy, I don't know who this guy is. And I still don't know because there was no talking in it. And that's, again, that's fine if English isn't your language or whatever language he speaks. But yeah, you gotta keep the pacing going and move that camera around so when you do get one of those dodgy sort of shots that you didn't frame it quite right, you can cut that out, and it doesn't matter because you've moved the camera around that often that you can make up for it with other shots. Yeah, like I liked that it was there was no man-made materials in it. It was all natural materials that he used to build the shelter. So yeah, I do like that. The fire inside, that was going to be as smoky as hell. And then he built another fire outside, which I don't think it really showed why. Was that just to light the area, just for lighting? He lit another fire outside, and he's got to run around and get wood for both fires, and you've got to keep an eye on that one outside, especially because there's so much dead leaves and things in the area, and it was so windy. So there'd be a constant concern that a spark could go somewhere and light something else up. So you're dealing with that, plus dealing with the fire inside and feeding both of them. And if you're going to have a fire outside, then that's it. You have your fire outside. If it looks like it's going to rain, then if you have to have the fire inside, then don't worry about an outside fire. But to have the two on the go, and the one didn't serve any purpose other than lighting for the video, yeah, that's about all I can really say about it. Is that it could have been edited a way a lot better, and a lot of those clips could have been shortened up or left out, and move the camera around a bit more to actually get us in there to show us some of the things he's doing, which we didn't get to see. The shelter itself, yeah, it's practical. It showed people how to do it, how to go about building a shelter like this. So I guess that's a good thing, that at the end of the day that people can watch this video and they can learn something. They can say, okay, build a frame here, use some bark to do the roof, and then insulate it with a bit of leaves over the top of that, and that's all I've got. I'll leave a link to his channel as well. You can go check that out, and there might be some other videos in there you're interested in watching. Till next time, thanks for watching my video. I'll catch you in the next one. See yous. Alright, I need another coffee.